Since antiquity, we've looked up to the night sky and have wondered about our place in the universe. Many beliefs and theories about Earth's position in the cosmos were often based on observation, leading ancient humans to believe that our home was the center of the universe, with a perfect, heavenly shell of stars rotating around a stationary globe. However, this primal belief was first shattered by 5 wandering stars, breaking the rules of the heavens by moving against the background stars. The Greeks would give them names as the planets, while the Romans would assign each of them names after gods and goddesses in their mythology: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. This view of the universe, known as geocentrism, was the founding view of the cosmos for millennia to come. It took until the year 1543 when the Polish astronomer Nicholas Copernicus realized that these ancient human-centric beliefs are wrong. By studying the motions of the planets, Copernicus stated that the Sun, not the Earth, was the center of the solar system. Copernicus shattered ancient worldviews, but he tragically left us in a treacherous habit of chasing ghosts in academia. We stopped assuming that the Earth was at the center of a structured cosmos, but that didn't stop us from assuming that our mathematics could explain everything we saw in the heavens. This tragic yet fascinating curiosity is a trap that leads us to the hunt for bygone visions of newfound worlds. The hunt for cosmic phantoms in our celestial neighborhood first began in 1781, when William Herschel noticed that a star in the constellation of Gemini began behaving differently from the other stars, as it seemed to move against the background stars. This phenomenon, known as retrograde motion, is what led William Herschel to discover a new planet. Intriguingly, Herschel decided to name this new planet Gregorium Sidus, or George's star, after the then ruler of England, King George III. While amusing, this nomenclature for the new planet was largely unpopular at the time, and to keep up with the tradition of naming planets after Roman gods, Uranus was chosen as the planet's name in 1851. Uranus was an exciting discovery to be announced to the scientific community at the time. For the first time since ancient history, a new wandering star was added to the pantheon of the heavens. However, with Uranus, phantoms in astronomy would rise as our understanding of the solar system progressed into the 19th century. If Uranus was a discovery that ignited a new field of astronomical research, Giuseppe Piazzi's discovery of Ceres in 1801 would cause this new field to become complicated. Upon its discovery on a cold winter night, the public would hail Ceres as the new 8th planet of the solar system, orbiting in an empty slot of space between Mars and Jupiter. However, this spot in space was only deceptively empty. Just over a year after Piazzi's discovery in 1802, Heinrich Wilhelm Olbers would discover what seemed to be the 9th planet, Pallas. This would soon follow with Carl Harding and Juno in 1804, Olbers with Vesta in 1807, and Carl Ludwig with Astrea in 1845, and so on, and on. After all these new discoveries, this led astronomers to realize that these celestial bodies are not planets, but only ghosts of planets that never came to be. The space between Mars and Jupiter is littered with thousands and millions of rocky debris left over from the formation of the solar system. With how many of these planets occupy this region of space, astronomers were forced to create a new definition for these objects in 1851, reclassifying them as the asteroids. While it's unfortunate to see these new worlds get stripped of their former planetary status, we today respect the work done by older astronomers to group asteroids as separate from planets. Asteroids are entirely unique from planets, and they too have many fascinating scientific mysteries that help us understand the formation and evolution of the solar system. However, while this lesson was profound for astronomical academia, we would continue to hunt for ghosts in our quest to understand visions of distant neighbors. Flashing back to the 18th century, the discovery of Uranus in 1781 would also allow mathematicians to create mind-numbing, hand-calculated models of the solar system for scientific purpose. The math was a lot, to say the least, and a nightmare to create, but without the work done by mathematicians at the time, 2 new phantoms in astronomy may not have been discovered for decades to come. By the 19th century, French astronomer Urbain Le Verrier noticed that something was wrong with the motions of the wandering stars. While most of the planets checked out, only 2, Uranus and Mercury, were behaving differently in mathematical models. This oddity led Urbain Le Verrier to hypothesize that 2 unknown planets were messing with the orbits of Uranus and Mercury via the force of gravity. With the reveal of Le Verrier's proposal, the hunt was on to discover his ghosts. In the fall of 1846, Neptune would be discovered as a faint star moving through the constellation of Aquarius. While exciting, the other phantom in Le Verrier's planetary mystery was much harder to discover. In comparison to Neptune, this planet, tugging on Mercury, resides well within the glare of the sun, making it much harder to prove or disprove its existence with the technology available in the 19th century. However, this phantom in the glare didn't stop astronomers from finding it, as even Urbain Le Verrier himself would give it the name Vulcan, after the god of fire in Roman mythology. Many of these hunts were often dubious at best, or even comedic at sometimes, as many well-acclaimed astronomers were whiplashing each other about claimed sightings of Vulcan's ghost. However, these hunts ultimately died by the 20th century, as not a speck of light or a disk crossing the sun was ever confirmed in Vulcan's existence. It wasn't until 1914 when Albert Einstein skyrocketed to worldwide fame with his explanation for the oddity in Mercury's orbit with general relativity. To put it briefly, thanks to the warping capabilities of space-time, the sun's mass is so extreme that it causes Mercury to shift in its orbit as it goes around the sun. Much like with Ceres, the tragic hunt for new visions of cosmic neighbors led humanity to repeat the same mistakes in following leads that aren't actually there amongst the stars. However, Vulcan's story is unique, as the ultimate eradication in astronomical fields led to one of the most revolutionary discoveries ever made in science. As we continue on into the modern day, these phantoms in astronomy will ultimately help us understand making the same mistakes. So, our next case we're about to learn about is a prime example of one. The 20th century was plagued by astronomical ghosts, and this one is no exception. First proposed by Percival Lowell in 1909, he observed that just like Le Verrier before him, something unknown at the edge of the solar system was tugging Neptune via the force of gravity. Lowell's unknown planet would become known as Planet X. It was predicted to be about 7 times the mass of Earth and was around 4 billion kilometers from the Sun. While intriguing, many astronomers and academia were not very fond of Planet X, as Percival Lowell wasn't the most well-liked astronomer. If his name sounds familiar to you, Percival Lowell is the same person who was absolutely captivated by Martian canals, which were thought to exist on the planet until Mariner 4 disproved their existence outright in 1965. However, the discovery of a new point of light moving against the stars in 1930 would launch Planet X back into the spotlight. When Clyde Tombaugh discovered Pluto in 1930, the world was adamant about it being the 9th planet of our solar system. While it was considered odd at the time, most astronomers accepted this fact, and let Pluto join the pantheon of planets for over 7 decades. However, if the story sounds familiar already, Oddities about the ninth planet would continue to become apparent for some astronomers. The first thing that astronomers noticed about Pluto is its weirdly odd orbit. In comparison to the other planets that orbit on a flat, largely circular plane, Pluto's was highly inclined and wildly eccentric. Pluto, while spherical shaped, is also incredibly tiny. This was further launched into speculation as Pluto began to share similar characteristics with icy bodies in a region known as the Kuiper Belt. All of these oddities caused the International Astronomical Union to finally decide on what to do with Pluto in August of 2006. While many fans of the ninth planet were upset about this new definition, Pluto and its icy brethren are now known as the dwarf planets. This group of oddballs has, just like Ceres 2 centuries before, opened a new exciting chapter in the discovery of our solar system. And this, after all this time, leads us back to Planet 9. Today, astronomy's modern phantom is with Planet 9, a distant ice giant first proposed by a team of astronomers in 2016. Much like Vivier and Percival Lowell, this team has noticed that several asteroids in distant regions of the Kuiper Belt are being pulled on wide eccentric orbits to the edge of the solar system by... well, we don't know exactly. While many theories have been proposed to explain this new phantom, the most enticing of all of them is that it could be caused by the gravitational force of an unknown planet named Planet 9. Just like the ghosts of centuries past, this hypothetical world nearly the size of Neptune could be nothing but a mystery in mathematics, or something else entirely unique than just a planet. Instead of harping on the same ideals that plagued astronomical academia in the past, this team of astronomers has openly admitted that their theory could be wrong, and accept that something else, or nothing at all, could explain the celestial oddity. As of 2026, nothing has been found that proves or disproves the existence of this distant world, as Planet 9's predicted magnitude is the very limits of what modern telescopes can observe. Despite all of this, the modern hunt for Planet 9 is yet another exciting chapter of humanity's quest to understand the universe through the vistas of different neighbors. Until we see a speck of light defying the order of the cosmos, all we can do now is just wait and see if anything is out there.